Hey everybody, we're standing in Peterborough at this amazing project. It's a modular pre-built garden suite that was craned in over the house in front of this and dropped into this backyard. So this is an amazing option that real estate investors or homeowners now have, is to crane in literally a pre-built home and drop it in the backyard. In this video, we're gonna walk you through this whole project, what it was all about, obstacles, challenges. You're gonna learn all about it in this video, so stick with us. Okay, so I'm here with our friend Jacob Sofer. He's the founder and CEO of Metro Suite. Metro Suite is the company that builds these modular homes and has this option of putting them in backyards, right?
Yep, that's right.
So what's the story behind this project?
Yeah, so we were grateful enough to be selected as a builder to build on Canadian Mental Health Association's property. This is a duplex in front of us, and they had space for an additional unit. And so they're looking to have a patient of theirs living in this unit. And so we recently went through the process of building this offsite and craning it into place.
Yeah.
Yeah, very exciting.
Yeah, so this is so cool how you can just crane it in. Did you crane it in one piece, or were there multiple pieces you had to crane in and then assemble? Like, how did that actually work?
Yeah, so this home actually came in two pieces.
Okay.
We met at the showroom about a year ago, and the actual connection is on the back wall of this sort of main room.
Okay.
So basically the back module was placed down carefully, and then the front module was then placed down, and then we had to do connection work to the foundation and to each other, to the modules itself.
Okay, and what preparation work was needed before actually craning it in?
Yeah, so we had to get the foundation all set up. We had to connect the utilities to the main house, and then we also had to clear the area. There was a few trees here that and some shrub we had to remove for the actual craning. For
the actual craning, so that the branches didn't interfere with dropping it down?
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
So if there's a big tree that's overhanging, this has to be addressed before the actual craning process.
Yeah.
Because we need a clear sight of view for safety reasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then so the crane was stationed in the street or the driveway in front of the house?
Yeah, so there's a street just out front here, and then there's also a street on the side. The modules were lifted over these houses and then onto the foundation here, and it happened all in one day.
Wow.
Yeah.
One day, both pieces, everything assembled.
Everything assembled, the pieces coming from Quebec, waiting overnight, then coming in the morning, the crane getting set up, picking the pieces up, all happened in one day.
And that's legal to crane this stuff over these other houses? Do you need to get any sort of permission from neighbors or anything like that?
Yeah, we worked with these neighbors. They were great. We did get permission from them, and we worked with them. And then we had to get some insurance to satisfy the city.
Okay.
For a permit, but we took care of all that in-house.
What if the neighbors objected to having a crane over their house? Could they kind of block the whole project?
It's an experience we haven't yet had.
Yeah.
To do things right for us in our book, we often like to get written permission. Sometimes neighbors might ask for a generator in case any power lines are disconnected for that day, or maybe some compensation for any interruptions. But generally, it hasn't really been an issue, and we would take care of that all in-house, all within Metro Suite.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So this one I think you mentioned is a concrete foundation, but you were telling us about a new foundation product you have as well. Do you want to quickly share that?
Sure, yeah. So this was a concrete foundation with a heated crawl space. A learning experience that we had there is, this is great traditionally. It did take a lot of extra time, and it also was more costly than another foundation type, which we're really stoked about. It's called the helical pile foundation. So basically it's a bunch of metal piles with helixes, like screws on the bottom, and they're put into rows. And they're actually just screwed into the earth. And that process, the actual installation, happens in one day. It's more cost effective. It allows us to operate quicker. There's no grading that's required, no excavating. And ultimately for investors, it's faster to get the project onto the market, right? The home for rent.
Wow. So obvious advantages of doing a pre-built modular garden suite seem to me like it would be just the speed of being able to do it, as opposed to months-long construction of the home from the ground up. So there's the foundation, there's the trenching of the utilities. Roughly how long does that take?
So what we do is we tether to the building permit because that's what we have control over. Each municipality is different in their processing time. For this particular project, we got a permit in May and now we're at the end of October. So we should be, crossing my fingers, we should be done in a few weeks, all the final touch-ups.
Yeah.
So that'll be about 6 months. And as we continue these projects, we anticipate getting faster and faster just as we have different learning. So anywhere from 4 to 6 months, that's what we anticipate from when we receive a permit.
Okay, and the building permit is a standard kind of additional dwelling unit building permit that you need to build an ADU.
So long as your property meets the prescription, this setback, this floor area, that sort of thing, then you can go right for a building permit. You don't need a minor variance or a committee of adjustment hearing.
So it's as of right.
As of right, exactly.
Got
it. And we take care of that entire process.
Okay.
Getting the permit, and before that, making sure that you're eligible for a garden suite and for our particular products.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you mentioned some finishing touches. So there's obviously a little bit of extra work that needs to be done to wrap this up. What are some of those finishing touches, and what specifically are you doing?
The remaining items are installing a heat pump outside, installing the mini splits, so HVAC, plumbing, so connecting pipes from inside the house to the lines to the main house, electrical, and then just sort of final touch-ups like painting and all the cleanup and that sort of thing. We also had to actually connect the roof as well between the two modules.
Okay.
So generally that's probably a month's work after, maybe 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
Getting all the trades in and out, but
yeah,
it's usually fairly quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the roof is also craned in on top once you've connected the two modules?
The modules come, each module comes with its roof, like with the roof sheathing.
Oh, got it.
But
and they're just attached?
Yeah, because there's a gap in between the modules, so they need to be secure for water penetration purposes. So we need to get a roofer to basically make the house one, even though it's two.
And seal that roof.
And seal it, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it seems like it's going well. It's obviously a process. Any thoughts on how this went? You mentioned some learning lessons that you had.
Yeah, I think we learned a lot when the home was actually being built in the factory. We've established really strong relationships with our contract manufacturers in Quebec, and we've established a quality control inspection list process. And that actually has been a work in progress to really refine that and eliminate any waste in the manufacturing process. So a lot of that is still being developed and we're working on it, but this particular project has really been great so far.
I guess most of the bulk of the work is done up front, right? Constructing it in the factory. And then when it comes to this, it's kind of just foundation, utilities, neighbor buy-in, building permits, just the local type of stuff, I guess, right?
You're saying like after the home is finished?
Well, I'm just thinking of, lessons learned. You were saying it's mainly done in the factory, which makes sense because it's mainly built in the factory, right?
For sure.
And then it's actually just applied out here.
For sure. Well, actually, to your point, each municipality is different.
Yeah.
So this is our first project in Peterborough. So exactly like you're saying, dealing with the city was a unique experience and particular to Peterborough than say Oakville or Hamilton or Toronto, which we have another project as well. So these are all good things and we're learning as we go as well. The one other thing other than the foundation that I wanted to share with Anthony is we use a process for connecting the utilities called horizontal directional drilling, where basically the utility lines are actually torpedoed underground. So we don't actually have to do any of the, excavation of soil, ruining people's driveways, none of that. The pipes are just run underground, and then they come out here. This is for data and electrical, and then also at the main panel as well. So this particular process happens in about 3 days, and it's super clean, super fast. It's quite cost effective, low risk, and so we're super happy with this so far. We're standing in the front module, so this space from this wall to the front, this came on one truck and this was craned all in one piece. And then from here, from the inside here to the back wall is the second module. And then this gap here is actually where the modules meet and where we have to do all the finishing work on the inside, as well as connecting the roof and the two modules to the foundation.
Yeah, Jacob, like this is a really cool project. It's just feels obvious to me that this is kind of where we're headed with the real estate market. We're gonna see more and more creative solutions like this to literally crane a property in, more and more modular homes. Just seems like this is where the puck is going. Would you say that yourself? Like you see this trend kind of continuing?
Yeah, I think the cities are really pushing these densification bylaws, and for investors who are looking to buy properties or already own properties, building on land that's free is kind of a no-brainer. So if you can build cost effectively and quickly to get it to market, to rent faster, then I would think that that's probably helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would you say a modular pre-built garden suite home is for versus building your own garden suite in your backyard and going through the whole construction process?
So definitely if someone has the ability to do this process themselves, then they should. Where we come in is for a lot of these people who are not necessarily specialized or don't have access to the trades.
Yeah.
We offer that one-time turnkey solution. Our focus primarily for the past year and a half has been multi-gen. So one example, another project in Toronto, we have a son who's living in the basement of the main house who will actually be moving into our Metro Suite 2 in the back. So multi-gen, but we also service investors. These are really great for yielding income, especially when rates are coming down like they are now. It's a really interesting opportunity, income play, really.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Okay. So multi-generational living, which makes sense. As younger people, I think, are priced more and more out of the market, and their parents have these backyard spaces, it just seems to make sense to add, additional units, whether in their own existing home, like investors have been doing for a long time now, or to start looking at other solutions like this, right?
For sure. Yeah, I mean, there was one example where someone who we're speaking to, where the client actually lives, they're sort of like an investor and they live in the main house, and they're thinking of moving part-time to Florida or traveling, I guess, part of the year. And so they're considering building one in the back, moving into it. It's maybe like a half the year type house, and then they would rent out the main house. And it's kind of interesting because they can build this for really the construction costs, and then they could generate a good amount of income from renting out their main property. So really way more creative solutions than we even thought of for these types of projects. So
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. If somebody wants to learn more about Metro Suite or speak to you and your team, how can they do so?
Go to www.metrosuite.com. We have a bunch of information there. Our pricing's all over our website, scope of work, and then they can fill out a form as well for eligibility of their property.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, awesome, dude. Thank you for
Thanks so much for coming.
Yeah, letting us see the project.
Yeah.
It's super cool. What we didn't mention in this video is the amount of dog poo in this backyard from a neighborhood dog. I'm already covered in it. Somehow got it on my pants, but it's a really cool project. Thank you for sharing, and keep us updated with more projects. We'd love to come check them out.
For sure. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
No worries.